can't add people to the trade house to, are you talking about our trade house? Yeah, you should be able to invite people to that.
Yeah, I think the invite link's active for that.
Yeah. Brandon, when that becomes available, yeah, you'll be able to.
Yeah, ads aren't available yet. Okay, guys, so tonight's webinar is to cover basically how to stay motivated, but we're going to break it down into two topics. So how to keep your habits, and then how to stay motivated on a goal, how to have a goal that excites you, how to still have motivation when trying to do an activity to get stuff done. So yesterday I let everyone pick which one they wanted to do first. Let's see if it's different today. Give me one in chat if you want to go over how to keep a habit first, how to not fall off as easy. Like I'm sure everyone here has gone to the gym, gotten to habit of going every day, missed one day, and then didn't go again. How to stop that. There's one. And then number two is how to stay motivated towards a single goal. Like how to have your regular activity still motivate you. One. Habit first and motivation. Okay, we'll go with the habits first. So who here has experienced that with a gym or with something else? You know, you've gotten something, you're doing it consistently. Maybe it's reading a book. Maybe it's following a diet. Maybe it's not eating sweets. Maybe, gym, whichever one. You miss it once, then you feel so guilty and you're so pissed off at yourself that you just stop. All of the above. Gym for 3 months and I always stop. Yeah. So I want to tell you one thing here. So your brain, it's trying to protect you. Your brain is always in defensive mode. So when you fail, your brain doesn't want you to try again because it'll tell you subconsciously, it'll say, well, you just failed doing this, so why should we even try again? So when it comes to a habit, like let's say you want to go to the gym every day all week, right? 7 days a week. That's what you decide you want to do. And you're doing it, you're like 2 weeks in, 3 weeks in, doing great. You miss it once. And the next day you feel so bad, you're like, okay, whatever, I'll just make it up the next day. The next day, you wake up the next day, and all of a sudden, you just have this guilt. And you have no motivation to do it now. All night, your brain beat you up, put you in defensive mode, and said, tomorrow morning, when you said you were going to try, you aren't, motherfucker. We are not going to let you try because you just failed. So I don't want to experience failure again. So we're better off just not waking up tomorrow because if you don't start again, you can't fail again. And your brain self-sabotages you. Your brain wants to protect you. Your brain wants you to stay inside your little comfort zone, inside your bubble. It doesn't want you to reach out. That's why success is so hard. That's why staying consistent is so hard, because your brain is fighting you the whole time. So who here would like to learn the rules of how to work with their brain instead of working against their brain? Does that sound like that could be beneficial? Yes. Big yes. I want to work with my brain. Yes, with much fire. Perfect. So like here's one of the things is when we set a goal like that, when you say you want to go to the gym every day, all week, 7 days a week, you have set yourself a perfect human goal. Something that gives you no room for failure, zero room for failure. So that means the second you fail, you are going to feel guilty about failing now. And as a human being, there's no such thing as a perfect human being. Doesn't matter how much willpower you have, doesn't matter how strong-willed you have, you will slip once. It's just a matter of time. It's not if you will slip, it's when you will slip. You are a human being. You will eventually slip, right? The goal is not to beat yourself up about it, but if your brain's subconsciously beating yourself up about it, that's a big issue. So the goal is to set yourself an attainable habit. So instead of saying, I want to go to the gym every day, 7 days a week, how about saying, I want to go to the gym 3 days a week, but if I go more, that's awesome, and I'll reward myself. So now you go 7 days a week, you did 4 extra days, maybe you reward yourself. Maybe it's a cheat day on your diet. Maybe it's watching, like binge watching a TV show on Sunday or something, or whatever your Sunday is. Because, you know, as entrepreneurs, sometimes our Sundays is like a Wednesday, or it's our Friday, or something, you know, it can fall on a different day. But, you know, whatever your relaxing day is, maybe you do something you know you shouldn't do. Maybe it's not beneficial to your success, but that's your reward. Now, obviously, you don't want your reward to counteract whatever your habit was. If your habit was to go to your gym, your reward shouldn't be a big piece of cheesecake, because then that just defeats the purpose of going to the gym the extra times. So don't have your reward crush your goal either, or crush the outcome of why you're doing the habit, because that's just going to demotivate you when you've done it multiple times and you don't see results. Does this make sense so far to everyone? People feel like if you guys set a smaller goal and just rewarded yourself for extras, you'd like it. Do you want to know a little bit more why your brain likes that side too? Got a yes there? Yes, of course. So your brain works pretty much looking for two things. It's either trying to go towards pain, or run away from pain, or go towards pleasure. That is all your brain does. Everything you do, every decision your brain wants you to make is either to run away from pain or go towards pleasure. So if I say I want to go to the gym 3 times a week, but if I go more, I reward myself. When I go the 4th time, if I do something that allows my brain to receive pleasure, all of a sudden my brain says, hey, I like putting in that extra work because I got something I liked. So now you just helped satisfy your brain when you satisfied something. So now you give your brain a subconscious tick to say this is a good thing with something you're deeming as a good thing. So now you guys are talking the same language. Right? Is this making more sense right now? And also, if I go, 4 times, 5 times a week, or let's say I do 7 days a week for 3 weeks, and then I fall off 2 days in a row, that next day I wake up, I'm not going to wake up feeling guilty, and I'm still going to be motivated, because I'm like, I'll think, well, even though I was doing 7 days a week, I only promised myself 3. I fell off for 2 days. I'm allowed to fall off for 4. This isn't a problem. I can still go today. And you'll still have that motivation because your brain wasn't beating you up saying, hey, you just failed. Don't go again. You're going to fail. You're going to fail. You're going to fail. Stop it. Don't try. Stop it. How do you keep your passion for something? That'll be kind of in the next one. We'll talk about how to stay motivated.
In that in particular, I want to talk about excitement and motivation, because both of those are absolute bullshit. And so we'll talk about that when Mike gets to that.
Yeah, is this making sense for everyone? Setting a more attainable goal, because success is about momentum. Your brain wants to have a success, and every time it has a success, it believes it can have a bigger one. So if you say you're just going to show up 3 times and you show up 4, you're going to feel amazing, as opposed to saying you wanted to show up 7 and you did 6. Even though you showed up 6 times, technically 2 times more, you will feel worse showing up 6 times than you will showing up 4 if you promise yourself 3. It's the same with companies and like their stock prices. If a company goes out and says, hey, this year we're going to do 300K in profit, and they do 290K, they look like an asshole. But if the same guy said, we're only going to do 200K, and they do 230K, the guy looks like a genius, and the stock price goes skyrocketing because it was just a perception. So you need to have your brain's perception favorable to your outcome. You need to set yourself up to win, because you want to have these little consistent wins. That's what keeps the momentum. That's what keeps you fired up. And if you're not getting these little consistent wins, you won't stay fired up. Every little win is like, I don't know if you guys have heard of the campfire effect, but when you go to like a motivational speak or an event, you're pumped up. You are excited. You can take over the world. 3 days later, you're back to normal. Every day you're away from the campfire, you get colder and colder and colder until you're just back to your normal, whatever your regular temperature is. And your personal development, your growth is what changes your temperature and permanently raises it. The more you work on yourself, the higher your temperature will stay on its own, right? So you don't want to steal the campfire from yourself. You want to make all these little wins to keep your campfire sparked and keep the heat going and keep the heat going. And it'll slowly spiral. This is making sense for everyone? Anyone have any questions on this or anything right now?
I'm following.
Grab some water while we give people a reply. Make sense? So who here feels after hearing this that maybe they set a perfect human goal before, not realizing that you'll eventually make a mistake? Yeah, definitely I've let myself down. Makes sense, makes sense. Now, I have a book to recommend to you guys. If you want to understand more about how this works and the brain works and how you can learn to work with your brain, there's a book called Psycho-Cybernetics from Maxwell Maltz. That is Psycho-Cybernetics from Maxwell Maltz. And I'll type it in the chat here. I'll put a link to it underneath the replay of this too. So this book is really, really powerful. The premise of this book is the guy who wrote it, he was a plastic surgeon. And he noticed a bunch of people would come in and get a surgery done, usually from some kind of accident or something. And they had this image of themselves, the self-image. And he noticed that when he did the surgery, every time he did the surgery, whatever the problem was not noticeable anymore. But he noticed a good chunk of his patients would still act exactly the same, judge themselves exactly the same, and treat themselves exactly the same as if it wasn't gone. And when they looked themselves in the mirror and he'd ask them what they saw, they still saw the mark, even though their friends, their family, everyone no one else could see it anymore. But they still saw it. And he started realizing that people have a self-image problem. You have subconsciously a version of you that you see of yourself, and you will always try and hold whatever you see of yourself true. And a lot of us have bad things that we hold against ourselves that we put in our image. Like you'll fail at something. Maybe you failed at something when you were 12. Maybe you fell riding a bike and you've never ridden a bike since because it scared you. And now you have that holding you back. And now that's part of who you are. So whenever you get on a bike, you're just going to fail because that's a part of you, right? You have these things that just they can be a little failure or a big failure, a trauma you attach to who you are. And whenever you get an opportunity to do something outside of who that person was, your brain will say, nope, this is who you are. This is who you keep saying you are. So we can't do this other thing. So even if you do it right now, I will sabotage you. We will go back to where you should be because we both know that's where you want to be. That's where you believe you should be. So psycho-cybernetics helps you figure out where you think you actually are, and it helps you tweak it and helps you almost program yourself in every little step that you want to change that. And once you turn that belief, like your brain essentially works as a computer. And if you tell yourself you deserve something and you honestly deep down believe to the core you deserve it, your brain will always find situations, events, and people to lead you to that. It'll work subconsciously, just like a computer. You give a computer a command, it makes it happen. It does what it takes to happen. Your brain works like that. And I know maybe to some people that might sound a little far-fetched, but this guy has done a lot of decades of science behind it, a lot of research, and it's all in the book. Very credible person. He's got lots of doctors with PhDs. There's a lot of studies they've had with it. And I do recommend the book over the audio. When you get the book at the end of the chapter, they have a self-reflective thing where you write down a incident in your life where what they talked about in the chapter happened for you. So instead of telling you stories of things that happen to other people, they make you build the beliefs off your own stories, and it just helps reaffirm it even more. It's really powerful. The audiobook doesn't cover it, give you the time for that, mention the pause or anything. So I definitely recommend the paperback first. But if you want to learn how your brain works and small little things like this to master it and work with it, because everything has rules. Money has rules, relationship has rules, everything has rules. And everyone wants to do it their own way, and that's the problem. If you learn the rules and how to play by them, you can win. You can't win soccer picking the ball up with your hands. That's against the rules. No matter how much you believe in the world, you should be able to run across the field with the ball in your hands and just throw it into the net. That's against the rules. But if you learn how to play by the rules, you can win the game. And if you learn how the rules work and you don't make decisions that go against the rules, all of a sudden the game becomes easy and it becomes fun. You can make mastering your mind fun if you learn how your mind works. Yeah, stop swimming against the river. Exactly. Does that make sense for everyone with that? Anyone want me to elaborate on any part of that? Is that good so far? Make sense? Let's give me I'll master myself in the chat if you want me to move on. This is about mastering yourself. Everything's mindset.
And real quick, just about that, is you need to understand that your life and the world around you is all malleable. That means it can be formed and shaped into whatever you want. And the way you do that is by believing whatever you believe you are going to be. If you believe you're a loser, you're going to be a loser, 100%. If you believe you're an entrepreneur and just a savvy investor and you're good at saving money, you're good at investing money, and you're good at creating new incomes, even if you're not right now, but you believe that you are, guess what you're going to be? That. Okay, so your thoughts are powerful. That means you need to be really, really, really mindful of what you allow occupy your mind, because that's going to subconsciously create your reality. And that goes into like the metaphysics and manifestation, which is a deeper topic. But just know that it's a real thing, and you need to be very mindful of not only your environment, who you surround yourself with, who you take advice from, but also what you occupy your own mind with. Okay, and a lot of that has to do with your environment.
So now let's go on to the staying motivated and having a goal. So who here has is everyone on here watched The Secret before? Who here hasn't watched the movie The Secret before? I have, big caps. Have not. Half of it fell asleep. I have it on my shelf. So there's a few mistakes that The Secret has. Now, I know The Secret's about law of attraction, but this same principle we're going to talk about will motivate you whether you believe in law of attraction or not. So one thing that they teach you to do is they teach you to look at the biggest things you can think of and to constantly dream as big as possible and to put pictures of all this fancy stuff all over your house, all this expensive, crazy things that you want to have one day. Keyword one day, okay? Who here's done that? Let's see if anyone here has made a dream board like that, where they had really, really big things on it. Really big things on it. I have, yes. Now, when you made it, it was probably really motivating, right? Like, it probably got you super excited, right? The process of making it felt incredible. But if you go to that board right now and you're just having an okay day, if you look at it, does every picture on your board, just by looking at it, motivate you right now? If you just looked at that $100 million mansion, like if this was $100 million mansion picture on here, not a picture of a bridge, but mansion, and I looked at this $100 million mansion, when I cut it out of a magazine, I might have been excited. And maybe when I look at it now, I'll tell myself, oh, one day I'm going to get it. I'm going to feel so good. But in my brain, that thing that's trying to protect me, it says, $100 million house, you don't even have $1 million net worth right now. Like, you don't even have $1 million house. How are you going to get a $100 million house? Are you kidding me? Why are you looking at that? It doesn't even make sense. You're not a $100 million man right now. And every time I look at this, no matter what I want to tell myself, subconsciously, my brain's rejecting it. So when I wake up in the morning and I say, if I make 10 calls every day and I keep doing that, one day I'm going to own this house, when I look at that, my brain's like, okay, so if we make 10 calls a day, every single day for what, the next 35 years, you might get the down payment? Is that what we're doing right now? And your brain is going to judge you and not be your friend, because that's not how it thinks. So when you wake up in the morning, even if you put this on your wall and you're so excited tonight, you're like, hell yeah, tomorrow I'm going to make 10 calls because that picture is going to motivate me. And you wake up in the morning and you're like, oh, do I really have to do this? That right there means this picture is too big. Stop looking at this picture. The goal to stay motivated is focusing on a goal that you think you can get in the next 2 to 4 weeks. Now, it's not saying don't have a big giant goal. Let's say I want to keep this goal. My mentor taught me to have 2 goals. Have a chief aim, goal number 1, and have a next logical step, goal number 2. The chief aim is the big one, the one you eventually want, but the one that will hurt you to focus on right now. But that's still where you want to go. The second one is the one you can believe, the one that'll keep you motivated because you actually think you could get it soon. And the sooner you think you can get it, the better. If it's a goal you think you can get next week, you're going to wake up and do those calls way easier tomorrow. If you think 10 calls a day is going to get you your next goal in half a week to a week, those calls are going to be way easier than thinking, oh man, well, it's still years away. You're not going to be motivated. Right? And don't get me wrong, there's people that can get motivated by vision. I'm motivated by long-term vision too, but long-term vision won't keep you up every single day. Long-term vision won't make you push every single rep in your business, right? You need a goal that excites you, that makes you want to move. People want excitement in their life. So if your goal doesn't excite you properly, doesn't constantly excite you, doesn't make you feel like, the way he puts it is, your goal should make you feel like it's Christmas. Meaning it's December 24th. I know when I wake up tomorrow, I have presents underneath the tree. I just need to wake up. Like, I know my goal is so close. It's like the presents under the tree tomorrow, because I wake up, I can go to bed and wake up in 30 minutes like I slept for 12 hours and go open up my presents when I'm a kid and go get toys. I'm sure we've all been there. That's why. Right? We had a goal we thought we were going to get right away. We go to sleep, we open our eyes, presents. Instant, right? If we're going to bed and we're like, hey, if I go to bed and I wake up and in 130 days I get presents, you're not waking up in 30 minutes tomorrow, right? But if it's Christmas Eve, you are. Set a goal that's as close as Christmas Eve to you, right? That'll keep you motivated. So here's the key with this, is if this is the house and this iPod, let's say it's like a car or something, a picture of a car, or let's say this was Prince for me right now, okay? Hitting Prince rank. My next logical step, the next thing I believe I can do right away. So me going like this, it's like laser focus, okay? I can see through it. I'm focused on this, but at the same time, I'm still going in the same direction to my chief aim, but I'm looking at something that excites me. That's the key. So if you want to have a board that motivates you, if you want to have a goal that's going to get you to want to move, pick a goal you think you're going to get soon, something that you can attain right away. Pick a couple of them that really excite you, something that you can get soon that excites you when you think about it. Then if you really want to stay motivated, if it's an item, let's say it's a camera or a drone or a computer or a game or whatever you want, right? Go touch it. Go see it. Go to the store. If it's a car, go test drive it. If it's an income, go print out your bank statement, Photoshop it to look like it. Look at that and say, man, what does that feel like now that this is my bank statement? And sit in that moment. That feeling you get looking at that with your brain thinking it's real, your brain is now starting to attach to that and say, oh, so this is who we are now. This is who we are. And if you tell it enough times for long enough, it will eventually believe it. It's not going to believe it the first day. But if you do that, once your brain locks in and says, okay, So we are someone who makes $15,000, $20,000, $30,000 a month now because of this bank statement. Okay, well, let's go do what we need to do it. All of a sudden, you're going to have this weird motivation out of the blue because your brain believes you're someone you're not, but it believes you're better than you are. Cassie did that years ago. Is this making sense for everyone yet? Who here feels like maybe some of their goals they're focusing on right now aren't next logical steps? Maybe they're a little too far right now.
Did we talk about small achievements and how
Not
that
yet.
keeps you motivated? Okay, cool. Just making sure I'm on track.
Anyone here thinking they're setting too big of goals, maybe? Yeah, and visiting your goals, seeing them, very powerful. Another thing is whenever you're doing them, like if it's a watch, wearing the watch, take a picture of it, of you in it, not just the vehicle, but take a picture of you in it. Because when your brain sees you in it, it starts associating you with that car subconsciously. And if you do it for long enough, your brain will create that habit. And once your brain creates that habit, it'll say, okay, well, we need to be someone who gets this thing. So let's go out and get it. Like, I'm tired of waiting for this thing. If this is who we are, why are we still here? Right? It'll take a while for your brain to believe it. It's going to take a little bit of work. But it'll help you stay motivated. Now, next thing is some of you guys might be like, well, if I want, let's say you're at the point where $5,000 a month right now is big money for you, right? Like huge money. So maybe you shouldn't set it at that. And maybe you're saying like 5,000 from home, right? Maybe you got a job, you want to make 5,000 from home. If you're making 5,000 from home, it's enough for you to quit, be free, right? So you're focusing on that. You're like, well, if that's my goal, but I can only really realistically believe that I could maybe hit founder next week. Let's say you haven't even ranked up yet, right? And you want to hit Duke and you haven't ranked yet. If you sit there and you focus on Duke, you will not be motivated because your brain's going to you're going to say, man, I need Duke. Duke would be so awesome. My life would be so exciting if I had Duke income. And then your brain's going to sit there and say, Duke income, you haven't even enrolled one person, or you've enrolled 2 people. You haven't even hit founder. You haven't even hit night. How are you going to hit Duke? Seriously? You want me to wake you up in the morning for this? I got better things to do. And your brain is now not your friend. Your brain's working against you. Right? But here's the thing. If you set it, maybe your goal was just founder and you're like, I just need 1 more sign up, or I just need 3. Or maybe 3's even too big. You don't think you could get that in a couple weeks. Maybe you're just like, I just need 1. You will be more motivated if you're like, if I make 10 calls a day, I only need 1 sign up, as opposed to if I make 10 calls or send 10 messages a day, I need to hit Duke. You will be way more motivated knowing that you have 10 shots that day to hit your goal, as opposed to you have 10 shots that you can hit or miss and you still need to do hundreds of more times to hit the goal you're focusing on. There's no motivation in that. It feels like an endless marathon. You want to set these little winning checkpoints along the way. You want to create this momentum and this consistency. So don't feel bad if you have to set it at 1 person, because the second you sign up that 1 person, you're going to sit there, you're going to be like, I can get 1 more today. I can get 2 more today. I can get 5 more this week. And you're all of a sudden going to have this number, this new number that's believable in your head. 100% beyond a reasonable doubt. No one can take that number from you now. And now you get that one. And you're probably going to get that one in half the time you got the first one. And when you get that one, you're going to be like, I got 3 people this week. I could easily get 5. I could totally get 5 next week and teach a couple of mine to get 2. I could totally do that. Because now you have this momentum ball. And before you know it, now you're Duke. And it's going to happen way faster than you sitting there and thinking about Duke at the start. And now this doesn't need to be a comp plan rank. This could be income. This could be any goal in your life. Anything. You need to set these little milestones and make sure you reward yourself along the way to keep momentum. Because you need to keep, it's like you're setting a pleasure breadcrumb trail for your brain, essentially. You're giving it all these little pleasure notes to follow. Like, hey, here's a reward, here's a reward, here's a reward. Keep following down this trail. Because if you don't give your brain pleasure, it just runs. And it's not your friend. So who here thinks they could set a couple maybe new goals that could really motivate them to wake up tomorrow, get something done tomorrow? And then like you tie an activity to that goal now. Like, hey, if I do this goal, if I show up and I show up on the charts at least an hour a day, I could be making 10 grand a month from my phone. Easy. I could at least start making $50 a day quickly, right? Even with a small account, you can set that goal. $50 a day, I could start earning my income, replacing my job. $100 a day, start replacing my job, right? $100 a day changes a lot of people's lives. A lot of people's life. Even $500 a month can change a lot of people's lives, let alone $100 a day.
And that's so doable. That's so achievable for anybody, even with absolutely zero experience, zero social media following, zero everything. That is so achievable.
Is this making sense for everyone? Nice. That's a good reward for yourself, using your money to book a holiday.
I was just going to say that rewarding yourself is super important. It's very important to reward yourself. You can't just go straight grind mode for 6-12 months without any reward. Like you can't do that. You'll get burnt out. You'll burn out. Exactly. And getting burnt out is the worst thing. I'm sure Mike's experienced it. I've experienced it a few times. You work too hard, too much for too long. And you just you feel exhausted no matter how much you sleep. You're just still tired and you just don't want to do it no more. And it just sucks, man. So you got to reward yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's how I've been working so hard lately for the team. Me and Dave have been putting in, usually 12, 16-hour days. Most days, I sleep twice during the day, and I sleep for 2 to 3 hours on each sleep. I get 2 sleeps, I don't even get a full 8 hours because I'm so motivated and grinding. But I also reward myself. One of my rewards is if I have a productive day is I can go get one meal, whatever I want, at a certain price point, right? That's one of my rewards to myself because I'm a foodie. But if I don't hustle, I don't get it. So I give myself these little breadcrumbs every day if I keep my hamster wheel going towards my goal, right? I give myself little rewards.
And for
also,
me, that's
fanatic. Sometimes I get a dessert.
Dude, you always get the best desserts. So yeah, I'm big on champagne. I like champagne. So on the weekends, if I had a killer week, if I accomplished everything I wanted to do, my whole to-do list, I'll get some really, really nice champagne and just enjoy that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the stuff that when you're slacking and not doing what you should be doing, the stuff you like to do then is what you should reward yourself with. Because if that's what you'll prioritize over your success, your body wants it. So don't completely rob it of it, but make it breadcrumbs. Okay, well, if you do this for me, I'll do this for you. If you do this for me, I'll do this for you. It's a give and take relationship with your brain. So everyone knows what their own weakness is. Some people are here going to be like, man, it's chocolate bars. Man, it's jelly beans. It's ice cream. It's Netflix. Everyone knows what their weakness is here.
Peanut butter.
Reward yourself with your weakness, in if it's like cheesecake, don't reward yourself with a full slice every day you have a productive day, right? That's completely counterproductive. It has to be tangible, like something that would be that calorie heavy or something, maybe once a week if you had a really good productive week. Try and find yourself something you can reward every day that's not going to provide a negative effect somewhere else in your life, you still want to be smart about that. You don't want to go up in one area just to go down in another. You shouldn't have to. So that making sense for everyone? Anyone got any questions or anything? I'll make it so everyone can unmute themselves now. That's pretty much the topics. I'm pretty sure that's pretty much all we covered.
Shorter than yesterday's. This is like a summarized version.
Well, yesterday, an hour and 10 minutes was Q&A.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. We had a lot of people on yesterday.
Yeah, we did, which is unfortunate that it wasn't recorded.
Yeah. But you guys can unmute yourselves. Anyone's got questions or just hit up the chat. And questions about mindset, not about, signups in the back office. What do I do if I can't log in or cards fall, mindset. We're recording this for replay. Stay on topic. Everyone should just raise their hand in the chat if they're good. Whoever's good, raise their hand.
I mean, we covered it 2 days in a row.
Mm-hmm. We only had one hand up. Everyone else is sleeping. What would be the best goal to set to start hitting ranks quicker? So what's your
Talk to
current
more people.
environment look like? How many people have you currently enrolled in what time frame? What rank are you currently? What's the most believable next step for you? Like what's your rank you really want to hit, maybe by, let's say, Christmas? And then what's your most believable next step? $19 people been in for 6 weeks. How many have you personally enrolled though? Right? Because if it was spillover, you can't just be like, I want my organization to grow to 50 if you didn't bring any in, right? Because you still haven't learned how to bring in one. So that's an unrealistic goal. If there's 19 and you've brought in your own 3 personally, that's a different story. Because now you have a tangible record of you doing it. So now your brain has believability that you can bring in more. So it depends, like how many are yours or from people you brought in that grew. Like if you have the 19 and you've only brought in 1, I would set the next goal of bringing in three total personals, right? But if you, let's say, brought in 6, then maybe make it 10 personals. Okay, so you're doing the leadership stuff for them. So it's still helpful. It's the one thing is, if you're relying on other people, like this comes down to a control your business thing, is if all your signups are always them bringing people to you, you're still not in control because you're not bringing your own leads. That's like me running a business that's getting referrals right now and saying, I don't need to do my own marketing. I'll always have referrals bringing me people. You know what I mean? There's no control there. It's awesome you do that for your team, very beneficial for your team, but at the same time, you're not doing an action you can control, right? Does that make sense? So even with that being said, I would start recruiting yourself personally as well. Because then once you know the kind of numbers you can put in personally, then you know the kind of numbers that you can forecast for yourself. But if they're all other people you're helping, you don't have a forecast because you don't know how long they'll stay motivated for. It's not your control.
And just back on the mindset thing, you got to look in the mirror and say, if you met you, would you like you? You know, if you were getting pitched a business idea or presented, not pitched, because I hate the whole pitch thing. If you were being presented an opportunity by you in the way that you do it, would you like it? Would it resonate with you? Would you want to sign up? And if the answer is no, you need to reevaluate the way you're doing things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, would you work with yourself? Could you share on social media cold call marketing and the mindset to take while doing it? Thank you for that question, Shane.
Oh my God. I'm so glad it was brought up because we talked about that in particular yesterday.
Yeah. So I won't go over cold call marketing on social media because I don't condone it. I taught Form. Form is a way for you to go out and create a relationship. You're going out to make a friend. And if you so happen to go over 3 pain points and you so happen to have an opportunity that could help them with those pain points, then you tell them. But the point of Form is to make a friend. The point of Form is not the pitch. So when you're looking at something as a cold market approach, it's how do I get there and then pitch them the right way in the fastest way. And I don't condone that. If someone inboxes me and starts building a relationship ungenuinely, I block them right away. I did it to 3 people this week. Just told them to F off because they messaged my inbox like, hey, Mike, how are you? Good. Oh, what do you do? Oh, I do marketing. Oh, cool. What do you market? And like, here's the thing, it's all questions that if they spent 2 seconds looking at my profile, they would have answered, right? So it tells me as a person that this person is so-called interested to get to know me, but not interested enough to click my name and view my profile for 2 seconds. How does that make someone feel? How ingenuine is that, right? And the second they do that and they start talking about my business stuff, I turn around and I say, hey guys, or I say, hey, this is awesome, but I actually just taught my team not to do this pitch and how to not do this. I've been in this industry for long enough. I can tell this is going to be a cold marketing pitch. I look at your profile. Your profile is what's called a profile funnel. You know, I've seen it. I've taught it. I know what it is. I could tell you're going to pitch me. You haven't even talked to me about my pain points. You have no idea if I even care about your service. You're just assuming I have a business, and I do. You haven't talked to me about it. You have no idea what's bugging me, and you have no idea what I want. You're just assuming because I have a business and you can message me that I want what you have, and your next message is going to pitch me and I'm not interested. And then I block them and I send them a link to my training. Right? Like, so I won't teach cold call marketing. I teach people how to go out and make relationships that could lead to a business connection. But the intent of you forming people isn't for that. You should be trying to make connections, because this is network marketing, and networking is very powerful. That's how me and Damon even started this. The reason you guys are all here is because me and Damon randomly networked years ago. He needed help trying to figure out ads for Market Sharks when he was starting to promote it online. And I got on a Google Hangout with him, and I just answered some questions for him. We got back and forth on Hangouts for a few months. One day he came to me. He's like, man, I'm so sick and tired of trying to figure this out. What do I have to pay you to do this? At that point in time, I'd only ever ran ads for myself. I was like, shit, people can pay me to do this? Okay, well, let me figure out how much time I'm going to have to put in, figure out a decent hourly rate, figure that out for how many hours I'm going to have to put in for the month, figure out something that's fair. Nope, 19-year-old target audience. I'm just going to finish this first before I read that question. But, and then we worked together on that. We've done multiple businesses now. We started Winner's Circle now. We've been co-founders of a ton of different things. And it all started, like, when I messaged him or like replied to his little post with my comment, I had no intent of pitching him. I had access at that time. I was affiliate for an ad course. I could have just been like, yeah, buy this course. And if he bought it, I made $500. But I had no intention of pitching him. I was just trying to help him with where he was at now. So with that being said, I don't teach cold market, because like even this relationship I have with Damon was not cold marketing, right? It was, I met a person, we became friends, and eventually there was a business benefit. So very powerful way to look at things. And if you go around just trying to make friends with everyone, they're going to naturally want to know what you do anyways, especially if you don't go out of your way to pitch them. And when you do pitch them, use the form technique that I taught. I couldn't help but hear you said you wanted A, B, and C. If I knew a way for you to get A, B, and C, and it wouldn't take that much of your time, would you be interested in giving me 15 minutes of your time just to show you?
You know why that's so powerful is because people don't talk like that. People only talk about themselves. People don't pay attention to other people. They only listen so that they can speak. They don't listen. They just wait until it's their turn to speak. So if you actually pay attention to what somebody's saying, repeat it back to them, let them know you're paying attention, and offer them a solution if they're interested, oh my God, you immediately have their attention, because that's just, nobody does that.
Yeah, no one cares what you know till they know you care.
Yep.
Yeah, when you're doing something like a drive-through and you're using form, you're in a rush scenario, right? You're going to see that person for a couple of minutes, and then you probably don't see them again. So in that scenario, my goal is to at least find something to talk about later. I honestly don't always go into the pitch either on the first point with form. I find a topic that we can connect on, and then I say, hey, can I get your info, your Instagram, your Facebook? We should talk about this later. Like, I really enjoyed this conversation. I'd love to continue it, but I'm in a rush right now. right? I just make my goal of the first contact is to lead to a low defense second contact, right? Not even necessarily go to the pitch, because in 2 minutes, it's hard to get 3 pain points out, 3 honest pain points. Sometimes people will put out a fake pain point and it's not a deep one. It's not one that's really going to motivate them. And only by talking in the conversation long enough will you get a feel for that. But okay, so as a 19-year-old, my target audience. How do you get a more serious audience to take you, or how do you get an older audience to take you more serious because you're 19 and you rely on social media? Well, there's 2 options here. A, you have way, like your ocean, your sea is big enough with your current audience. You don't need the older ones to take you serious to make a fortune here first. So if the people your age believe you, there's no point on you trying to go out of your way to make someone else believe you. If you already have a market you can market to, find a way to market to them more efficiently. And B, if you want to leverage to older people, or let's say you have some warm contacts you want to go to, but they won't take you serious because of your age, you always leverage the tools. You're not the prophet in your own land. I taught this with the triangle of edification training at the start of the forum. What you want to do is you don't want to be the plug. You want to know the plug. You want to be the connection to the plug. Then you connect them to someone who is credible, who they would believe. Maybe that's Damon. Maybe that's Darren. Maybe that's somebody, some other leader in the company that they would believe, who has the credibility. Maybe it's Aaron, someone who's been trading for years because they're really interested in the trading side. So they want to talk to someone who's been doing it for years and you have it. But don't
And
be the plug,
short name for that,
plug. Yeah, be the connection to the plug.
Exactly. And we call that the handoff, is because you don't want to be the guy. You don't want to be the girl. You don't want to be the boss. You don't want to be this and that, because what that happens is when you put yourself in that position, people are going to start hitting you with all the hard questions like, how much are you making? Why aren't you rich yet? Why isn't this working for you yet? Where's your Lamborghini? Why do you still have a day job? Things like that. So instead, if you just be authentic and be truthful and be like, hey, I'm just getting started, but let me introduce you to somebody who's done this, this, and this, and build them up. What that does is they don't know that person, so they can't leverage that person. Say that's me or Mike. They can't judge us like that because they don't know us. For all they know, we legitimately could be that person, and we are, because we've been doing it for a long time. So that gives us a lot of leverage. And I call that just shorthand the handoff. You edify somebody else and connect them with somebody else that's a little bit more credible than you. And it works phenomenally. I've had almost 100% success rate with it.
And then when it's done right, the triangle edification, what happens is, like, let's say you're edifying Damon to your prospect. Then when Damon gets on the call, Damon's going to turn around. He's going to edify you back, right? So now you build Damon up onto this pedestal. And then when you get on the call, Damon turns around and builds you back up. Now they're looking at you like, you're not the same person I used to know. Because here's the thing. You're talking to people
Right.
that you already knew before you started a business. It doesn't matter how serious you are about building your business right now. If they don't know you previously in time as being a serious business builder, they will not follow you right now. Because when you come to them like, this is a business opportunity, we're going to make $100,000 a month. Man, we can even make $100,000 a year or a month. It doesn't even matter. We can make so much money here. I'm all in on this. And they know you as the partier in college. They are not going to take you serious. It doesn't matter if you've been going through audiobooks and regular books and growing yourself crazy for the last 2 years. If they don't know it and they haven't been there to witness that and see the change themselves directly, they don't know. So they're going to judge you from the last person they knew. And they're not going to say you turned into that easy. They're going to look at it as a big jump. Even if it took you years to do, they will look at it as, no, you're back here. I could see you maybe coming to here, but you're trying to tell me you're over here? There's no way you're over here. That's where they're going to judge you at. That's why you're not a prophet in your own land. Unless you have a ton of credibility that is undeniable for them, you are not a prophet in your own land. And even when you have credibility, when I used to do Vima, I used to frenzy to double frenzy every single week. I used to recruit like a freaking madman. Frenzying was getting 3 personal signups on a $500 pack. I used to do that off forming for an hour to 2 a day. and I'd frenzy once to twice a week. I was one of the biggest recruiters, probably the most seasoned recruiter. And when I got someone interested, I still plugged them into someone else. Usually it was a teammate that was a lower rank than me, just because having that third party was more credible than me being the person. Because if I'm the person, I'm edifying myself. I'm going to come across as a big ego. I'm going to come across as self-absorbed. I'm going to come across as the know-it-all. But if I know the person that's that, it's different, right? So even when I could have been that role in that company, I wasn't. Now, if my teammates were recruiting, they would leverage me, and then I would play that position. But when I was recruiting, even when I could play that position, I didn't. I still leveraged because the leverage was smarter, right? It's so powerful. Oh, could you share your friend on how to redo Instagram so he becomes attraction marketing instead? Yeah. I just realized I was a former drug dealer. How do you just realize that? Maybe you don't want to say on the chat, it's being recorded. So I should connect who brings the prospect to the plug. Yeah. So like when your prospects, you said, are coming to you for you to sign them up, they should be edifying you, and you should be edifying them back. I don't know if you guys are currently. If you're not, you should adjust that. But you're being the plug for them, and they're not being the prophet in their own land. That's why it's working. But that you can't just sign up your own people yourself. You're going to have way better leverage using someone else, whether they're above or below you. They just need to be able to talk and converse with people. How do we keep our team motivated? That one's like a whole nother webinar. Maybe we should do another webinar here. Yeah, one of the biggest things is recognition. People love to be recognized. Recognize the smallest things. Like I have students, and when they show up or they read a book or they finish something and they let me know, or they have an epiphany, like they notice something they hadn't noticed before, I make sure I recognize them for it. I make sure I say, congrats, man, you are growing. Like you're doing a good job. I keep them motivated like that. Even the tiny wins. It comes back to that success thing, right? You can't just congratulate them on the big successes or they won't get there. They say in business, you want to reward behaviors you want to see. So you don't punish behavior against behaviors you don't want to see. You reward behaviors you want to see. If you have a workplace and people act in a certain way and you want them to act differently, instead of punishing them for acting the way you don't want, which will create workplace resentment, what you want to do is you want to reward the few people very publicly for doing the right thing. And then everyone else will naturally be like, well, I want to be rewarded. What the hell? And they'll just naturally fall into place. And guess what? There's no resentment. They don't hate their boss because you're not the person going, no, stop doing that. Stop doing that. You're just the person going, hey, over there, thank you for doing that. I see you. And now they want to be pointed at. It's completely different. But yeah, we'll have to do another webinar on that topic. That's a whole other topic. The best thing you can do right now that I can give you short form answer is keep yourself motivated and lead by example. Because if someone keeps seeing you do it consistently and have results, they'll eventually want to follow you again if they fell off. That's the best answer I can give you short form today. But back to the social media and attraction marketing. So with the cold messaging, what me and Damon do, and I used to do it a lot, I'm getting back into it, is attraction marketing. We don't cold message anybody. I form people when they message me now, but I don't cold message anybody. And Damon signed up, I don't know how many hundreds of personals, and he didn't cold message a single soul. You want to do attraction marketing. And one of the biggest things I see a lot of people on the team doing that you guys need to stop doing if you want people to inbox you is you have to stop putting things on your posts that they can Google.
Stop giving them control of the situation.
Yeah, stop putting Tradera on your posts. Stop putting the logo on your posts. Talk about Winner's Circle. Talk about the community. Talk about Founder's Legacy. Talk about the Forex markets. Right? Don't talk about things they can Google. If you talk about, hey, this is my new company I joined, it's $99 a month and here's the comp plan, You didn't tell them what the product is. You didn't tell them any of the value they get from the product. So now they think they're just paying $100 a month to just sign up and be a part of a comp plan. They don't realize they can learn how to make $1,000 a day from their cell phone because you didn't tell them. And then when you message them directly, they give you the cold shoulder and tell you it's a scam. And then you message the group and say, why does everyone say this is a pyramid scheme?
Because that's how you made it sound.
Exactly. Now, if you turned around and said, hey, I just started making $125 a week with this awesome comp plan, learning how to build a business with the winner's circle. These people have been training me really well, or Founder's Legacy, or Lit Trade House, or whatever you want to use that's not Googleable. Now, if they want more information, where do they have to go? They have to go to you. They don't have a choice. If they can go to Google and see a presentation video, they don't need you anymore. They'll make their decision before you talk to them. And then when you message them, you're just annoying them because they've already made a decision. Even though they haven't told you, they've made a decision. Stop messaging them. You're bugging them. Right? It's super important. Don't put things that you can tell what it is. Like, we have new rank up templates we're working on that should be done here soon. That's going to have Winner's Circle on it. It's going to have Forex on it. It's going to have Founder's Legacy on it, but it's not going to have Trade Error, nothing on it. It's going to be things you'll share on social media when your team ranks up that doesn't give people things to Google. And if you have a bunch of Trade Error this, Trade Error this, or Trade Error this, Trade Error that on your profiles right now, delete it. Because another thing too is if your whole profile is all about one specific company, what happens if that company goes under? What happens if something happens to that company? All your credibility is tied to that company. Now when you go to talk to somebody about something, they don't believe you anymore. Right? If you just make it 100% about Forex, Forex is not going under. Right? It doesn't matter what happens for Trade Error. You could be 4 companies down the road, 10 years down the road, and you still have the same credibility because you didn't tie yourself to that. You made the brand you. So either you want to become the brand or you want to leverage Winner's Circle or Founder's Legacy as the brand, right? You want to leverage a team and a community. People want to join something. They want to be a part of something bigger than them. They don't want to just be a part of a comp plan, right? And in reality, most of the people we bring in nowadays, they don't even know there's a comp plan because there's so much value with the product. For $25 a week, you get 3 to 5 sessions over the shoulder of a live trader in the industry you can do Q&A for. That's less than $1 a session. Are you kidding me? You can't go and follow a doctor for $1 for 2 hours over the shoulder and ask him questions the whole time. You'll piss him off. Someone might die because you're stalling the doctor, right? Like, where else can you get that? Plus, you get dozens of hours of curriculum just between the Facebook groups and the back office. Plus, you get 3 forms of signals. Ones, we're just going to say okay. And then you get our team ones and the free Forex ones, which are insanely awesome. Most signal services that are as accurate as freeforex.co charge $500 a month plus, and we get it for $10 with our product. Like, there's no reason to even sell the comp plan here. You don't even need to promote the comp plan here. You make more from your phone than the comp plan will ever pay you if you just show up. So just promote value on your Facebook. If you talk about lifestyle, you talk about stuff you enjoy, and occasionally you put a post about a good trading day with a disclaimer. You know, if you post trading profits, you got to put a disclaimer. Past profits don't guarantee future profits, right? Always have to put some kind of disclaimer if you're talking profits. But if you do occasional posts like that, and then occasional post about how Forex is recession proof, and post to different articles here and there about Forex, you will start having people message you. And to prove it, there's someone literally in this chat right now. I taught him to start doing this. He was cold messaging people, not getting a lot of responses. He started doing this just over a week ago and had like 3 or 4 people message him. I think 2 of which ignored him. And now they're messaging him. And guess what? They're all signing up. Kind of crazy. Attraction marketing really works. If someone approaches you with a question, their guard's already down. as opposed to you approaching them and hassling them and then pitching them. They have a guard up. They're suspicious. But if they come to you, they want you to tell them stuff. They want you to talk. It's an entirely different mindset, and you'll close way better. So I honestly recommend just doing proper attraction marketing. And like if someone has a good day with trading in the group, you can friend them on Facebook, post their picture on your Facebook page, tag them in it, and say, hey, congratulations to Jane for having her first $200 day trading Forex. So happy she joined the winner's circle so she could learn how to do it. That is going to get you inboxes if you don't go Tradera this, Tradera that. Join me, join me, join me. Don't say it. And it'll work better. 100%. Like, he's in this chat. I don't know if you want to say that it's you or not, but you could give a hell yeah if you want to. I'll give you like 10 seconds to give a hell yeah if you want to say this shit works. Because I taught him it. He's been applying. He overthought social media. Just started doing basic quotes and stuff, occasional things of like at the gym and stuff. And he's got all these people inboxing him, just the occasional Forex thing. Yeah, there it is. Hell yeah.
I knew it was Jaron.
What would be a good balance for social media? I wouldn't start a new social media account for stuff like this. Damon was talking about this too. Like, a lot of people are doing like
Stop
Damon
doing
Alexander _ Tradera. Like, don't do that.
Stop doing that. Stop doing that.
Also, the purpose of social media is to leverage a network. So if you're going to start a brand new, completely fresh network, you're just doubling the work you have to do to get a result, a single result, your first result. So now it goes back to the topic we started with, making yourself these little successes. You just pushed your first success even further away. Why? If you do proper social media posting on your current social media, you will not piss off your friends and family. Let me repeat that. If you do proper social media posting, you will not piss off your friends and family. Now, if you sit there and go, buy my shake, buy this, try this workout plan, do this, do that, yeah, you will piss them off. But if you just talk about your lifestyle and things that you enjoy, and occasionally talk about the Forex market, occasionally talk about your success, occasionally talk about being on a live session with 500 people learning how to make money from their phone without having to do any sales, without having to do any pitching, and without having to fill products, people will naturally reach out to you. Like, it took him it was almost about a week. He didn't get a reply, and now he's starting to get replies or messages inbox consistently, right? It took a little to get the snowball going. This isn't, you do a couple posts and tomorrow you have inboxes, right? You got to stay consistent for a week, maybe a couple weeks, maybe a month. But if you do it, you will start waking up to inboxes every single day. I used to travel for like 2 to 3 years, damn near straight. I was out of my country more than I was in my country for almost 3 years. And this is all I did. I just posted cool things and occasionally said, man, learning how to make money from my laptop was the best thing I could have did. That's all I did. And I just did fun posts. And every time I did one of those posts, I would get a bunch of messages. How do you make money from your laptop? How is this possible? What are you doing? This is so crazy, because I'm not giving them stuff to Google, right? They have to come to me. So again, if you do your social media right, you won't piss anyone off. And if you're not pissing anyone off, why start fresh? Use your same one, right? The worst that could happen is maybe someone removes you because you got overly aggressive and was still learning, right? But if someone's going to remove you for trying to learn how to do a business, they weren't that good of a friend anyways. And the next worst thing that could happen is they don't engage with you at all. They watch you from a distance, and later on down the line, you inspire them. When you start becoming an example, right? And social media posts don't have to be crazy. You can follow all the leaders. There's a lot of leaders that post on social media. Lots of examples. You don't have to have these crazy, beautiful pictures. You don't have to have these crazy, long story, inspirational posts. It really doesn't, it's not that complicated. And I'll probably, when I start going really hard on my Instagram here, I'm going to start teaching people how to do it. And Jared's probably going to start teaching you guys how to do it too. He's using his account as an example. We're about to do a huge launch we're planning right now. We're just like, we're sorting all of our hashtags and doing all the technical stuff behind the scenes that will teach you guys how to do. That just help you. But that's a different day. So yeah, if you guys have like a lot of Tradera stuff on your profiles, please go delete it right now and leave the curiosity to the inbox. You will get way more people. It'll take a little snowball, but it will work way better. And then you don't have to cold market. All you have to do is show up, learn how to trade, and talk about it here and there. And when they inbox you, don't be the prophet in your own land. Direct them to the plug. That's it. Quick pass off. It's like literally being like football. Someone just throws you the ball and you just pass it off to someone else and you still get counted in the play. You don't have to score the touchdown to be counted. So.
Anybody got any questions?
Yeah, any questions? Right. Anything anyone else wants covered on this particular one?
Right. We're at an hour 16 now.
I'm going to write down Instagram training. And then what was the other one someone wanted us to do?
Well, we need to do social media. We need to do social media training, period.
Yeah, we should do that one right away, actually, with the new launch. Because with the new marketing system that's coming out, I don't want people promoting it wrong because it's so powerful. And if you do it the right way, people will be signing up, so many people, left, right, and center, with little to no effort. It'll be insane. I don't know if you guys, everyone on here has seen the update, but we literally have the ability to give people the option to join a Facebook group that teaches them how to make money from their phone. And if they show up to one live session every week and pay attention during it, they get 10 shots at $1,000 a week. This pause is very intentional. I'm just letting that sink in for everybody. If that doesn't blow everyone's mind that you can do that, and then by doing that, they're going to get followed up on Facebook feed. They're going to get followed up with on Messenger. They're going to get followed up with on text message. They're going to get followed up with on email. And should they unsubscribe from any of them, they stop receiving free signals. And they get reminders every single week written by a marketer who's been marketing for dozens of years. And he sends all those emails, calls, and texts out on your behalf. And when they click buy, it goes to your link. So, yeah, we should probably do the social media training sooner than later because I don't want people screwing that launch up. Like, if they use that group properly, they could get half their friends list inside that group just for the giveaways. And guess what those sessions do? The entire session is social proof. All the success stories of the week from trading, all the new people who hadn't learned how to trade and 2 weeks in, they're making money. They're going to be on the webinars. They're going to have the giveaway secret code that they have to pay attention to the webinar so they can get the code to get auto-entered into the giveaway. Then they're going to get taught in the group how to take the signals and be profitable with the signals, and then they're going to get given your signal link. Like, it's so powerful. And we get all of that for $10 a month on top of the signals and the rotator. So, and that on top of the thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of leads that we get access to at the start of the month. Like 6 figures plus of leads that everyone gets access to at the start of the month. That plus the system for duplication, like, July's going to be insane. The people that are inactive are not showing up anymore because it didn't happen in 40 days. Oh my God. I feel so bad for them. Patience is key. And those people who didn't have any patience are going to lose out big. Like, I honestly think by Christmas, probably everyone that's in Winner's Circle by Christmas, probably be somewhere by Duke or Prince at least, just off our marketing efforts alone, let alone their own efforts. But not saying that's a guarantee. I'm just saying with how the numbers look, that's probably very attainable, but we still have to see how things work. But the people who actually held onto the vision at the start, you guys are in an amazing position. And we're not even really telling people in the future about too much of the marketing. If you personally enroll someone, you can tell them about it. But all of our ads and stuff, they don't know about the comp plan and they don't know about the marketing system. If they decide to start trading and wanting to build, they'll probably find out about it, but we don't let them even know about it. Just hoping David's leads won't be overly expensive. I know David, and he's a stickler at lead prices. I highly doubt they'll be over $5. He considers over a $5 lead a sin, unless like every second lead is buying, he's not going to pay that. His typical numbers he likes is $5 a lead max and around a 20% conversion rate. Those are the kind of leads that I know make David happy. At least in the past, when me and him have talked about numbers before, those are the kind of numbers he looks at. So if these are David qualified leads, they're most likely $5 or less because he doesn't care to make money on the leads. Like, if David sets us up, I don't know if everyone on this call knows, but Tradera has one new rank coming out this month, possibly two, $500,000 a month rank. And when this new system launches, if David just helps all of us just a little bit, he hits that rank right away. That's where he gets paid. He doesn't need to make money on the leads. He gets an extra $150K a month if he helps us win right now. That's his incentive, right? That's his whole reason he added the signals to freeforex.co. He wanted to make sure we had highly accurate signals consistently. And that's the reason why we're getting the new marketing system. And there's probably even more stuff he's working on right now. He hasn't even told us because that's how David is. He's always a under promise and over deliver kind of guy about everything. So, yeah, the lead shouldn't be too expensive, but we'll have to see. But knowing David's numbers, I know that's what he aims for. And if he says they're qualified leads, when he says something's qualified and when a salesman says a lead is qualified, David's qualified is probably 10 times better than that lead salesman's qualified lead. David is really critical on data when it comes to leads, not people's words, but exact data. And he doesn't like other people's data. If you have good data, he will test mass amount of data himself before he believes your data. It doesn't matter how accurate you are. It doesn't matter what you say about it. He will always test it himself. So if he's saying it's a qualified lead, this is meaning it's personally tested, tested, and true from himself. So he's always been that way. So I would assume he's still being that way now. I don't see him changing now. Like when I joined Tradera, when I knew he was doing this, David has middleman leads lots in the past. He gave me one of his lead sources, like directly gave me one of his good lead sources, which before coronavirus was getting Tradera signups for $5. We didn't get the hammer and we were still setting stuff up before the virus came out, unfortunately. But he had a lead source and he's never given out a lead source like that. At least to someone like me. Like, I'm not like co-partner with him in any businesses or anything. I don't have a relationship with him like I do with Damon. We're online acquaintances who've talked like business stuff, talked online marketing a lot. I've learned a lot from him in online marketing, but I've never been a direct partner of his. So like, I've never been in a position where Dave would give that out. And that's always been a pillar of his business, being able to make money on leads. And he literally gave it to me because he's like, Mike, I honestly don't give a fuck if I make money off the leads. Just build this with me. I want to see everyone win here. And he gave it away. So we're hoping the lead source starts converting better because it doesn't convert really well ever since everything happened. But with this new setup, it might. I will be testing that lead source with this new setup. And if it works, that's going to be a good thing, a really good thing. So we'll see about that. But yeah, David's lead should be good price. I'm so glad to be in here now. Would this be from his lead source or him directly? I don't know. And I don't know if we'll ever actually know. All I know is a David qualified lead is probably one of the highest qualified leads you're going to be able to get. So it doesn't really matter where it comes from. When it comes to leads, put it this way. I've been in the online marketing space for almost 10 years. David is the only person I'll buy a lead from. If it's anyone else, I'll generate the lead myself. David is the only person I've ever gotten a good lead from. And he's the only person will ever consider leads from because of how hard and how scrutinous he is verifying the leads himself before he'll even share it. A lot of people will join something and just hype train it and try and sell it without even knowing if there is a real result. David will never do that. He absolutely refuses. So, there's a lot of leaders that look good on camera, look good when they're on stage in MLM, and then they're shitty people behind the scenes. Dave is one of the most genuine, hardest working, honest leaders I've ever seen in the space.
We can personally name a few people like that.
Yeah. And I only know a couple. I know a lot of 6-7 figure earners in MLM. You search my friends. Actually, I don't know if you can see non-mutual friends on my friends list. But if you can, if you search my friends list, there's a lot of them on there. Been friends for a long time. We've built lots of different things together. I can tell you right now, majority of them look a lot better on their social medias than they are if you are behind closed doors with them. Luckily, I was on the good side of it with those people. But to the average person, to the average waitress, they are not nice people, right? There's a lot of two-faced leaders in this industry. And those are the kind of leaders that give this industry a bad rap. Because they teach their teams to be sharks. They teach them to just pitch. They don't teach them to build relationships. They don't teach them to actually network properly, right? So, David is one of the few leaders I trust in this industry beyond a reasonable doubt. And there's only 2 other ones I could name. Out of the dozens I have personally met and at least spent a weekend with. At least a weekend, if not longer. I'm not saying, I saw them at a convention, I shook their hand. I saw them behind closed doors when the cameras were off, when the lights were off, when the personas were gone. I met them, and they were assholes. One of the people who was behind one of the reasons Vima got attacked, he was one of the leaders. Vima got attacked for the FTC for doing all the hype promoting. We joined another company. I found out he was a leader in it. We were at a mansion mastermind. He was there, and he was trying to tell us to do the exact same thing that got Vima shut down because, he said, oh, well, it works. But he was literally trying to do the exact same thing that got a lawsuit filed against the company. He was one of the top people that made that happen. I'm not going to list names because this could be a big accusation, but I have enough proof to say it, but I'm not going to throw shade or anything to anyone. I'm not like that. I'm not about drama here. But some people are that shitty of a leader that the company that they help destroy, they will literally redo the exact same thing at a different company so they can make a cool check in the next 6 to 12 months while they leave a burning down building. As the company goes down in flames, they'll just walk away with their commissions. There's people like that in this industry. And David is the complete opposite. He is one of the most solid ones. He's solid. I heard him on one of his live sessions where he was protecting the team. Yeah, he doesn't want this to go anywhere, right, guys? Dave doesn't plant his flag often, and the other 2 times I'm aware of he planted his flag in MLM, he built 7-figure businesses using online marketing. This isn't his first rodeo. The only difference is the marketing system we're using this time, he owns it. So if he wants something changed, he can just tell his developers to do it and it's done. Where before he was always restricted by the service. So now he's building something he's more passionate about than he's been about any business he's ever done in the past. He's doing it with a system that gives him 0 restrictions, which is something that's always been an issue in the past. One of the reasons he joined here is the compliance following here. With that whole FTC attack with Vima, one of the things that got ruled is MLMs aren't supposed to, like, when you do your initial payment, you're not supposed to instantly go on an auto ship. You're either supposed to click a separate box agreeing in a separate decision that you want to have an auto ship, or you need to enter the card or agree to the auto ship somewhere else. So what Tradera does to make sure it is super far apart and that no one can say, hey, I accidentally clicked it because I just thought it was a terms or conditions or something. So there's absolutely no way anyone could attack from that. They make you have to log back into your back office and put your card on your file yourself. An entirely complete opposite decision, action, train of thought. Most companies, well, actually all companies are supposed to do this. Most companies are not right now. They don't even have the auto ship option on it. You just pay once and they start auto charging you. And that's technically against the terms. And that's technically leaving them open to a lawsuit at any point in time right now. So one of the reasons David planted his flag here is Tradera actually dots all their I's and crosses all their T's. Like, they are building this for the long term. This isn't going to be one of those Forex companies that comes and goes like most of them, because most of them, they try and do a trade copier, or they try and do account management, or they try and do things that you need so many licenses for, and so many new rules and regulations come on board that they just get taken down so fast. And the companies that always have the auto EAs that trade for you, they always get taken down because, again, there's so many rules and regulations about providing something that manages someone's money for them. So those companies go down. Yeah, IML, they almost went under for that exact thing. That's why they don't have it anymore. They're one of the lucky ones that stayed standing because, fortunately, the owner of IML, even though I personally, they're a great company, don't get me wrong. I don't like how everything's structured there, but Terry actually gives a shit about their company. Just like the owners of Tradera give a shit here, that's the only reason IML is still standing. Terry put so much of his own money into courts to defend them because he cared about what he was doing for people. He was one of the few CEOs who probably would actually do that in this industry. And one of the reasons David locked arms here is because our CEOs are the same caliber here. Yeah, they joke around on like lives and stuff here and there, but when it comes to making a hard decision, they say good business people make hard decisions fast because a hard decision usually questions a moral. And if it's a question on a moral, it's an easy decision. Hard or not, if you have a moral around it, your decision should already be made when it comes up, right? So when it comes to that, our leadership makes the right decisions. So yeah, this is a long-term thing. Like, this company's going to be here a long time. And the things we're setting up for right now and all the automation, like, in our second year of business of Tradera is probably going to create anywhere from 20 to 50 millionaires. How many MLMs have you ever heard create a millionaire? That many millionaires in their second year. How many companies do you know have ever even created a millionaire in their first? They did with David, right? It's just crazy numbers that we're able to do here because we have a product that works. We have a high value pack. We're not charging people $500 to get in, $150 to $250 a month to maintain it, $100 to get in, $100 to keep it. High value, and we just keep adding more. No, the CEO actually removed himself off social media because people kept messaging them a whole bunch of questions that should just go to support and stuff. So to be able to stay focused on the business and not get distracted or be called assholes for ghosting people, they remove their Facebooks entirely, even their personals. You're not going to find them on there so they can stay focused on the business. Yeah, very smart move. Because, yeah, either they keep them and then people just go around saying the CEO's assholes, he never responds to me, or he just doesn't leave that option available and just works. So, yeah, they just work. Yeah, any other questions? I think we got everything covered here for everyone. Oh, that looks good. Well, I'll have the replay probably up here by tomorrow for everyone who wants to share it. And we'll see you guys on probably a social media training. We'll probably do one this weekend. I'm assuming, Damon, what's yours like Saturday, Sunday look like? Wait, what's the day? No.
Sorry, I'm at the grocery store. So Saturday, Sunday. Saturday is 4th of July, so I could do it early Saturday probably. Or
Yeah, with 4th of
Sunday.
July, it's probably not even smart to even try.
No, because everybody's going to be, doing whatever they're doing.
Why don't we do Sunday so we can start everyone off a fresh week with fresh training?
Sunday would work. Sunday should work fine.
How's Sunday night go for everyone in the group here in the chat? You guys get first dibs on picking. Sunday's good. We'll probably do around the same time. Whenever. I like that attitude. Doesn't matter when it's going to be, I'll be there. That is a hustler, determination, warrior attitude. I like that attitude. Thank you, Jane, for leading by example. We will see everyone on Sunday. Talk to you guys then.